This Saturday, I'll continue my explanation of the blockchain technology through the medium of storytelling as I have been doing for the past few weeks. It's fascinating to declutter the complex technology through funny anecdotes. Let me try it this week as well. Hope you will be with me on this. First, let me take you through an interesting throwback to Yes, Prime Minister. That was a British sitcom on the Idiot Box that was aired in 1986. The story is set in the fictional private office of a British Prime Minister, Jim Hacker, at Whitehall, and his various struggles to formulate and enact policies or effect departmental changes. These are opposed by his cabinet secretary, Sir Humphrey Appleby, while the PM's private secretary, principal private secretary, Bernard Woolley, is usually caught between the two. What comes next in mind is yet another interesting story that alludes to the Yes Prime Minister and the travels of power and its attendant efficiencies and deficiencies that tango together. It's a story of four people named everybody, somebody, anybody, and nobody. There was an important job that needed to be done, and everybody was sure that somebody would do it. Anybody could have done it, but nobody did it. Somebody was angry about that because it was everybody's job. Everybody thought anybody was supposed to do it, but nobody realized that everybody won't do it. It ended up that everybody blamed somebody when nobody did what anybody could have done. And how? It's simple. While the individual moving parts of any government remain as they are strong, immutable, rigid, also inflexible, compartmentalized, tightly leashed, and accountable, each efficient in its own ways, a thought, however, does not become an ought, as it takes more than one part to become a whole. That in turn makes it very difficult to establish provenance or origin of any activity within the government and turn it to be a proven outcome. The accountability finishes at achieving outcomes or defending and justifying what could or could not be done within one or some moving parts, while the whole is rarely and with difficulty achieved, as the sum of the parts just never sum up. An old idiom comes to rescue and defends the two stories above. It says, a camel is a horse designed by a committee. Committees, due to their reliance on several different opinions and viewpoints, produce results that are fragmented, inefficient, and of poor quality. That idiom defends because that idiom exists, so it's okay to blame it on the idiom, as long as the one part did what it was expected to do. In doing so, that idiom rescues because it recuses everybody, somebody, anybody, and nobody. In pun, one might say, like everybody that gets into Google looking for something but invariably gets out of Google with something completely different. Simply put, there is a provenance of origin of each activity and there is accountability of each act, and yet the responsibility of not achieving it can only be pinned on nobody, since everybody never looked at as a whole. Blockchain then arises as the finest cure for the epilepsy, inertia, Alzheimer, or Parkinson's that affects the governance. That next takes us to the Parkinson's law articulated by Civil Northcote Parkinson as part of the first sentence of an essay published alongside many others in The Economist in 1955 and since republished online. The Parkinson's law suggests that work expands to fill up the given time. To absolve us of any crime, the reference is to the British functioning, though an apple will rarely fall far from its tree, and we are still not talking of India. That disclaimer be noted. The arbitrage then has to be between the derived efficiency versus deemed efficiency. With the stress that is becoming incremental in our lives, what if because of our efficiencies, time expands as a result of the work that gets done faster? It may make for a healthier planet, not nitpicking, rather picnicking. Elon Musk, though, feels that the world must pay a premium for keeping the blockchain algorithms going. This comes at a price, at a cost. For example, one of the most important applications of blockchain, the Bitcoin, to keep it running on the network for a year will consume as much energy as is used by 160 world's nations. If we can create the regulations or smart contracts in overseeing its use, it will pay like a song. While the jury will be out on that, it will certainly make for a reduction in the quantitative transaction time and an improvement in the qualitative transformation time, thus invested in our lives. That stretches thin the argument in favor of costs and expands a counter argument in favor of cost benefits. In Shakespeare's comedy Twelfth Night, the love-lorn Orsino is frustrated in his courtship of Countess Olivia. He asks for more music because he muses that an excess of music might cure his obsession with love, in a way that eating too much removes one's appetite for food. Thence the famous words, "If music be the food of love, play on." At this time, a road has just been completed and the road has been inaugurated between Tiara and Thierry. At this time, the same road is being used or being dug to lay a telephone cable. In a blockchain, if the provenance of origin of that asset or road is also known, then if not the cable, the duct could have been prioritized too, since that is a natural companion of the road. Alas, PWD reports and is responsible only to the Ministry of Housing and Urban Affairs, and the cable perhaps to the Ministry of Telecom and perhaps Ministry of Information and Broadcasting. मेरे दोस्त, तुम करो फैसला, खता किसकी है, किसको दे हम सजा? To friends, do settle this dispute. Whose folly is it, and who should be punished? In this case, I am the hapless plaintiff because I paid taxes. How about WhatsApp and Twitter on the blockchain? It will be so easy to identify the wrongdoer. The analogy of the four friends above again comes to mind with respect to social media and the ills that confound the government or individuals. Is it not the same water that softens a potato that also hardens an egg? The New York Times says that blockchain has the potential to cut millions of dollars of red tape every year, hold public officials accountable through smart contracts, and provide transparency by recording a public record of all activity. Here is a point to ponder for the Prime Minister, Jim Hacker, to put his ducks in a row and resolve the confusion between his cabinet secretary and his principal secretary. Is he listening? Friends, that's the talk for this Saturday. I'll be there to meet you next Saturday in my next episode with another story to de-glamorize blockchain technology. Until then, dhanyawad, thank you and namaskar.